So what you're going to find is that there are strengths, there are struggles, and there are strategies for each one of these. The strengths, the struggles, the strategies. So let's talk about the strengths of the I type, the inspiring leader. Okay, eye to eye. This is very interesting because both leader and I team member, the inspiring leader and the interactive team member, tend to live life emotionally. Remember that an I can be as high as a kite or low as a skunk when they're not under control. Remember in your disc advantage, in your adult profile, and these trainings that you've gone through. But remember that there's, under control and out of control. This is something that I learned that was really interesting because both leader, two eyes, they tend to live life emotionally. You may end up competing to be the center of attention. Jealousy between a high I boss and a high I team member is not uncommon. Jealousy between two eyes is not uncommon. And what we've learned, we went through some stuff with a guy by the name of Patrick Guarneri, who did a whole study on disc at the University of Florida, and we went through this crazy training with him. He's a guy who trained undercover defense, CIA, people like that to overcome fear and to put on the right front and everything. And they did this big study on disc. And this is one of the things that they really showed is that how eyes, like one eye will downplay another eye because they don't want them to get more attention than them. Also, since you both tend to be impulsive, issues such as following through on responsibilities and financial discipline can become a problem. All right. The I leader to the S team member, the inspire leader to the sensitive team member. Inspiring leaders will appreciate the easygoing, relaxed nature of the sensitive type. The leader likes to talk. S team member enjoys listening. They tend to get along very well. The struggles. Most struggles between I leaders and S individuals center around differences in pace. The high I leader enjoys a fast paced, exciting lifestyle, and this is exactly what the high S wants to avoid. So, folks, listen, here's the key. The key is if you're outgoing, slow it down a little bit for the reserve person. Reserve person, speed it up a little bit for the high paced individual. Okay. Meet them in the middle. Task oriented, let's visit the people side. People oriented, let's visit the task side. That way we can all get on the same page. The high I likes noise and confusion. The high S desires peace and quiet. The high I leader thrives on spontaneity, variety, and quick changes. The high S person is slow to change, enjoys routines, and dislikes surprises and unplanned changes. Listen, having S team members are phenomenal because whatever you set up, they're going to follow that to the T. They're going to do the script the same way. They're going to do the procedure the same way. I mean, they want everything to be the same. They want to know what to expect every single day. That's not the real world. We have to change because change is inevitable, as my one of my mentors used to say, but growth is optional. But if you're a high I leader or a high D leader, then what you need to do is you need to talk about the new procedure and if possible, Give them time to adapt, give them time to change. All right, here's the strategies. If you're an I leader, you got an S team member, slow down your approach. Let the person respond at his or her own slower pace. Allow this team member time for making decisions. Tone down your enthusiasm. Don't make them uncomfortable by being overly enthusiastic about his or her achievements in front of others. Provide support and encouragement in private rather than public ways. Whenever possible, give plenty of notice as to what and how things may change, as we talked about just a minute ago. Ask for the team members' help in getting tasks accomplished. The S individual loves to feel that his or her contribution is valued and wanted. And guess what? They're going to give it to you. S's are loyal. They'll get a ton of work done for you, but they're going to do it at a slower pace than you are if you're a D or an I. All right, boy, howdy. Here's where some fireworks are about to happen. Man, I to C. You can learn much from each other because each of your strengths provide a good balance to the other's weaknesses. How many of you who are I's married a C if you're married? How many of you C's married an I? How many of you S's married a D? How many of you D's married an S? Why? Because, yeah, so why? Because you sense that this person has something that you don't have. And so you're trying to um, complete yourself, but instead of completing, you end up competing after a while because you forget how valuable that their gift is, their strength is. And we always have to keep that in mind. We always have to keep that in mind. Okay, here's the struggles. Your differences can lead to frequent misunderstandings. You love to talk and be on the go, Chestnut. And sometimes the other person needs to have time alone. Also, because you're so verbal, you may miss this team member's more indirect way of sharing concerns. Just saying, okay? To my fellow ID. And so it takes effort. All right. So here's some strategies for the high I working with the high C team member. Tone down your emotional reactions and your enthusiasm. High C don't care anything about that. Can I get an amen on that? Give me the facts, not the feelings. I don't care how you feel about it. Be more factual and objective, especially in the midst of conflict. Remember, high I's are very emotional. They can be as high as a kite and low as a skunk. Realize that that person's drive for perfection is as deeply felt as your need for fun. He or she cannot simply lighten up and laugh off mistakes. A high C sometimes will be, again, quick to poo poo on your ideas and to look at the negative side of a situation. It's their nature. And by the way, would you rather somebody go, woohoo, let's go, and you drive it in a ditch and lose a bunch of money? Or would you rather them say, I'd probably slow it down a little bit if I were you? You're looking for balance. Don't rush or push. Allow the other person time alone to do quality work Be sincere in your praise and appreciation of his or her work. Tell this team member what she did well in specific descriptive terms rather than saying, great job, terrific, or you did a fantastic job. Remember, this person's worst fear is criticism of his or her work. Be gentle when correcting. Don't expect this person to be a risk taker.